Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we sift through the sometimes boring, sometimes crazy world of corporate filings. Today we're diving into a report from NCL Corporation, that's Norwegian Cruise Line. And trust me, it's got more twists than a cruise ship buffet line after a storm. Before we get started, if you appreciate getting straight insights from the business world, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below. Come share your thoughts and join for more insight. Today we are covering their report on changes to a credit agreement and some debt shuffling they've been doing. What does that mean? Well, it appears that they just borrowed a whole lot more money. Why and what does that mean for the company and its future? Let's take a look. This report is called an 8K, which companies file to tell investors about big news happening between the usual quarterly or yearly reports. Think of it as up-to-the-minute corporate gossip, but from the company itself. So the date of the report, the date of the event we are talking about is June 26, 2025. Keep that date in mind because it is when everything we are talking about happened. The company we are decoding today is NCL Corporation. That's NCL as in Norwegian Cruise Line. They are officially registered in Bermuda, but their main office is in Miami, Florida. Okay, so what's this report actually about? Well, the important headline here is entry into a material definitive agreement. In plain English, that just means they made a big important deal. It has to do with something called the 7th Amended and Restated Credit Agreement. Now this sounds complicated, but it's really just a fancy way of saying they changed their existing loan agreement for the 7th time, specifically for their senior secured revolving loan facility so that they'd borrow money when they need it. What's the big change this time? They increased the amount of money they can borrow. Originally they could borrow $228.6 billion. That's an extra 786 million. That's an extra 786 million tanned. Why businesses usually borrow more money to invest in something, maybe new ships, new routes, maybe just to have available in case of black swan events. We will see if the report sheds light on why they needed this increase. The loan has the maturity date of January 22, 2030. That's when the loan needs to be paid back or refinanced to extend it. But there are some catches if some existing debts, like their senior notes, are not repaid soon enough. The maturity date of this loan could be pulled forward, which can get them into trouble. More on that soon. The interest rate they will pay is a little complicated, but the important part is interest rates on these loans will float based on a benchmark rate, plus an extra margin. And there is an unused commitment fee attached to the loan. This is basically the bank charging them a fee for having the money available should they need it. The final interest rates will depend on how risky the lenders think the company is, measured by something called the leverage ratio, where having higher debt is considered more risky. Here is another update. Some companies guaranteed that loan. Guaranteeing means they will pledge assets in case NCL cannot pay it themselves. And on the other hand, one guarantor was removed from the deal. If you wanted to understand the agreement fully, not really necessary. It is attached to the filing as an exhibit for the nerdiest people to see. Item 8.01 section is about other important events to disclose for transparency, which is why the SEC requires it. Now, here's where it gets a bit more complicated. NCL made also a supplemental indenture. Don't worry about the legal jargon. All it simply means is they made some change to existing bonds that they issued. Those bonds are secured, meaning there are some assets available to bondholders in case NCL fails to pay them. Those bonds are called senior secured notes and have a considerably high interest rate of 8.125%. This interest rate is what they have to pay every year. The bonds are due in 2029, so they need to pay it by then or refinance again to extend the due date. The change they made to those bonds is a collateral swap, meaning they changed the assets that are available to the bank to make sure they get paid. The new collateral, the assets, are now the same as the ones backing the credit agreement that got increased from the first section we talked about. All of this means that all the loans and bonds are backed by similar assets. This means if things go badly, everyone will be fighting over the same pie. They have some exhibits attached to the report, including the indenture document that we previously talked about. Finally, you see the signatures verifying the contents of the report. Now that we've dissected this somewhat boring filing, let's zoom out and look at what it all means. First, NCL took on a lot more in additional potential debt, but they might not even need it currently given the fees applied to unused funds. Second, those debts are now connected to their other debts, so problems with one could cause problems with all of them. On the flip side, cruise lines and NCL specifically got hit hard in 2020 and are still recovering from that. Cruise lines are also capital intensive. They need a lot of money allocated to operation, upgrading and maintaining their fleet. So this credit increase might be related to expansion plans. So where does this leave NCL? Honestly, it paints a picture of a company in recovery mode, betting on future growth but walking a tightrope with its finances. Would I invest in NCL? It depends. Cruises are back, its debt load is concerning, and interest rates aren't always predictable. Alright, that's our breakdown of NCL's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.